Hello guys, welcome back to my EduSpace. Hope you all are doing and learning well. If you are liking my videos, then please do subscribe for some more interesting videos. Today we are going to look at the structure of nucleus. As this topic is too large to complete in a single video, so I am going to divide it in two parts. Okay, so in this video we are going to look at what is the nucleus and what are the components of nucleus. The nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, nuclear matrix and the nuclear pore complex are taken in this video. So without further ado, let's get yes. So as we all know, the smallest unit of life is a cell. Okay. So we can say that cell is the structural, functional and biological unit of life. Now, how nucleus is much important for a cell. On the basis of nucleus, cell is classified into prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So the major difference between an eukaryotic cell and a prokaryotic cell is the presence of nucleus. As you guys already know, in prokaryotic cell there is no nucleus or no prominent nucleus is present. Nucleus is not present, but in the case of eukaryotic cell, a well membraned nucleus is present. Okay. Now, location of nucleus, where we found the nucleus in a cell. In an animal cell, the nucleus is located at the center of a cell, whereas in plant cell, it is quite shifted to the periphery because of the presence of large sap vacuole. Suppose this is an animal cell. In this, the nucleus, this one is nucleus, this nucleus is present at the center of the cell. Okay, this is present at the center of a cell in case of animal cell, whereas in the case of plant cell, suppose this is a plant cell, because of the presence of large vacuole, the nucleus which is present at the center is quite shifted towards the periphery. So in plant cell, the nucleus is present at the periphery of a cell. This is nucleus. The nucleus was the first organelle to be discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek in the red blood cells of salmon. Nucleus of the cell is like brain of our body. As the function of the nucleus is considered, it is also said to be like brain. Okay, as brain regulates and controls all the function of entire body, just like that nucleus does for a cell. It controls and regulates all the activities of cell. Nucleus. It is a spherical shaped organelle present in all eukaryotic cells, and the main component of the nucleus are nuclear envelope, nucleoplasm, chromatin and nucleolus. Just look at this picture. So this spherical body is nucleus. This particular spherical body is nucleus. Please don't think that this is the exact shape of the nucleus, but for better understanding its inner view, this particular section is cut out. Okay, so nucleus is having a proper sphere shape, or which is just like a ball. This nucleus is surrounded by a double layered structure. So double membrane layer is present in the nucleus, which is known as nuclear envelope. Okay, so two membranes are separated by a periplasmic space. So you can see These two membranes are separated by some space which is known as periplasmic space. This nuclear envelope is not intact at all. You can see this is not in continuity, but it is interrupted at certain places. And these interrupted structures are known as nuclear pores, or we can say these are the nuclear pore complex. This nuclear envelope is filled inside by a semi-fluid substances which is known as nucleoplasm. It is just like the cytoplasm of a cell. Inside the nucleoplasm, there are nucleolus and chromatin which are suspended in the nucleoplasm. So this dense region, which is shown in purple color, is nucleolus, which is located at the heart of the nucleus. It helps in the formation of ribosomal RNA or rRNA. And these elongated thread-like purple structures are chromatin fibers. During cell division, these thread-like structures become thick ribbon-like. At that time, they are called as chromosomes. So first, we discuss about nuclear envelope. It is also known as nuclear membrane or karyotheca. Nuclear membrane forms envelope around nuclear contents, therefore named as nuclear envelope. Why it is known as nuclear envelope? Because these membrane structures formed a envelope kind of surroundings around the nucleus, so it is known as nuclear envelope. It seems to be highly regulated membrane barrier that isolate nucleoplasm from cytoplasm. So this membrane acts as a barrier which separates the content of the nucleus or the nucleoplasm from the outer surrounding, that is cytoplasm. Okay, now take a look at this picture. This outer covering, this outer covering is nuclear envelope having two membrane structure. So this membrane is outer nuclear membrane and this one is inner nuclear membrane. Okay, so this is two membrane thick structure composed of nuclear envelope. So many different proteins are present which functionally help in chromatin organization and gene regulation. So what is the function of this nuclear envelope? Basically, there are so many types of proteins that are arranged in this nuclear envelope which help in organization of chromatin fiber and also help in gene regulation. So next, as I already told you, it is consist of two unit membrane. This one is outer and this one is inner, each having lipid bilayer structure. So if the composition is seen, they both are similar in composition and they looks like that of cell membrane, which is made up of lipid bilayer. Each unit membrane is lipid bilayer in structure. The thickness of each membrane is 75 to 90 angstrom. So the thickness of this and the thickness of this, the inner nuclear membrane and the outer nuclear membrane, they both are of 75 to 90 angstrom thick and they are made up of lipids and proteins. That's why they are lipoproteinous in nature. Both membranes separated by a space known as perinuclear space. This space that extends from this region is known as perinuclear space. Okay, this is perinuclear space. It is 10 to 50 nm wide. The outer membrane is rough due to presence of ribosomes. So, as you know, ribosomes are formed inside the nucleus. Okay, when they getting transported through these nuclear pores, most of them are embedded in the outer surface of the outer nuclear membrane. So this outer nuclear membrane seems to look like rough, okay? And this outer nuclear membrane is continuous with the other membranous structure, which is known as endoplasmic reticulum, and those endoplasmic reticulum that are having ribosomes are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this outer membrane is basically rough in structure because of these ribosomes, and it is continuous with these other cell organelle that is known as endoplasmic reticulum. So as we just discussed about the outer nuclear membrane, which is rough in structure due to the presence of ribosomes. So ribosomes are present in the on the outer nuclear membrane, but at the inner nuclear membrane there are no ribosomes present, but it is associated with chromatins, this inner membrane. So let's discuss about the inner nuclear membrane. This inner nuclear membrane is associated with the chromatin. Okay, so chromatin are basically organized through this inner nuclear membrane. Now, inside the nucleoplasm, there are crisscross fibers. Okay, inside this nucleoplasm, there are crisscross fibers like this. Throughout the cytoplasm, these protein fibers become dense at the periphery. You are seeing this green line, okay, this particular region. This dense region is known as nuclear lamina. Okay, this is nuclear lamina, or we can say which is made up of filament protein lamins. So this particular region is known as nuclear lamina. This nuclear lamina is 300 angstrom thick and functionally give strength and support to the membranous structure. Okay, what is the function of this lamina? It gives strength to this nuclear envelope of nucleus. Now, nuclear envelope has interrupted by many pores. These are known as nuclear pore or nuclear pore complex, which allow material to pass between nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. So, these are the nuclear pore complex. Their function is to transferring or exchanging molecule from nucleoplasm to the cytoplasm. So the next one is nucleoplasm. Suppose this is our cell, okay, and this is our nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there is a nucleolus, okay. This is what? This is cell membrane. This one is nuclear membrane. And this is nucleolus, okay. This nuclear membrane surrounds a fluid-like substance which is known as nucleoplasm. Okay, it is also known as karyolymph, karyoplasm, or nuclear sap. It is mainly composed of nucleoproteins. The nucleoproteins of nucleoplasm can be categorized as histone or basic proteins and non-histone or acidic proteins. So the composition of this nucleoplasm is nucleoproteins. nucleoproteins can be classified as basic proteins, okay, and acidic proteins. Basic proteins are known as histone proteins, whereas acidic proteins are known as non-histone proteins. Beside nucleoproteins, there are some other substances which compose this nucleoplasm. These are enzymes, nucleic acids, minerals. Okay, so this is basically a granular, semi-solid and slightly acidophilic matrix present in space between nuclear envelope and nucleolus. This is slightly acidophilic because most of the nucleoproteins are basic or histone in nature. So it is just slightly acidophilic, otherwise it is basidophilic. Okay, next. Now the functions of nucleoplasm. All the nuclear components like chromatin fiber, nucleolus remain suspended in the nucleoplasm. Okay, it gives structural integrity to nucleus, or we can say it maintains the shape and structure of nucleus. It is the site for the synthesis of ribosomes, DNA and RNA, as it contains so many enzymes which are helpful in the replication or transcription. It contains several enzymes: DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase, adenosine deaminase, which help in the process of replication, transcription, etc. Now, the nuclear pore or nuclear pore complex. The nuclear envelope contains thousands of nuclear pore complex or NPC, which are about 100 nm across with an inner channel about 40 nm wide. They are octagonal in shape. Okay, they are made up of filaments and rings or annuli. Suppose this is the nuclear pore, okay, and this is the nuclear membrane. So basically it is made up of rings and filaments. These are some filaments and these are two ring-like structures. Okay, why it is called nuclear pore complex? Why we can't just set this as a nuclear pore? Because it is a macromolecular protein assembly embedded in the double lipid bilayer of the nuclear membrane. So what it says? It says that this nuclear pore is not just like a pore, okay, but it is the assembly of macromolecular protein which gather together and form such type of structure. That's why it is the complex formation of a pore with the help of proteins. It is the sole gateway of macromolecular traffic between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So these are the only channels through which the macromolecules can get in outside or inside from the nucleoplasm, or the exchange of material takes place between nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. So just look at this picture. We can see this is the nuclear envelope, this one, this particular region. Okay, this is the nuclear envelope, which are having the outer one is outer nuclear membrane and this inner one is inner nuclear membrane. The outer nuclear membrane which faces toward the cytoplasm, this is the cytoplasm, which faces toward the cytoplasm. And this inner nuclear membrane faces toward the nucleoplasm. Okay, so this is the nuclear envelope. This one is, you can see this ring, okay, the first ring, and this one is the second ring. This green ring or the annuli is known as cytoplasmic ring that is present on the outer nuclear membrane and it faces toward the cytoplasm. Okay, now this red ring, this ring is present at the nucleoplasm, okay, at the inner side of the nucleus, and this ring is known as nuclear ring or nuclear annuli. Now from this cytoplasmic rings, there are some filaments that get originated in the cytoplasm. These are known as cytoplasmic filaments, whereas from this nuclear ring, there are some other structures, filaments that get appear. These are known as nuclear filaments. So what we can see here, in this there are two rings. The first one is cytoplasmic ring that is present at the cytoplasm or on the outer nuclear membrane, and the inner ring that is present at the inner nuclear membrane and on the side of nucleoplasm. Okay. Now these two rings are connected together by two more layers. The inner one layer, this white, and the outermost layer is this blue. This white layer is known as Fg Nups layer and this blue layer is known as scaffold layer. So these two rings are connected together by Fg Nups layer and scaffold layer. This all complex form a inner channel. You can see this is the inner channel, okay, which is 40 nm wide. The width of this inner channel is 40 nm, okay. This is 40 nm wide, where the exchange of material from nucleoplasm to the cytoplasm takes place. So it forms a gateway from which the exchange of materials from the nucleoplasm or to the cytoplasm takes place. So the four major subcomplexes of nuclear pore complexes are the outer ring, the coat nucleoporine complex CNC, which is the primary constituent of the outer ring. Okay, this outer ring. Now the next one is inner ring, this one. Nucleoporins and the cytoplasmic filaments, this one, these are the cytoplasmic filaments, and the nuclear basket. This inner nuclear ring and their filaments form a basket-like arrangement, so it is also known as nuclear basket. Now the functions of nuclear pore complex. It is pathway for the exchange of macromolecules between nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. Okay, here this is the channel through which the exchange of material from the nucleoplasm or to the cytoplasm takes place. The ribonucleoproteins leave the nucleus through these NPC. The ribonucleoproteins that are formed inside the nucleoplasm are leave the nucleus through these pores. Two rings or annuli regulate the exchange of material according to their chemical composition and size. So, suppose we know that this is 40 nm wide and the molecules that is wider than this 40 nm could not able to cross or enters to the nucleus. So according to their chemical composition and size, these two rings regulate the exchange of materials. So nuclear matrix. Nucleoplasm is not just the thing that is present inside the nucleus, but there are some network of fine crisscross protein fibers found throughout the inside of a cell nucleus which join to nuclear envelope by thin ends. So you can see over here, these are the crisscross type of proteins. Okay, this is the complete network of a proteins throughout the nucleoplasm which are joined together to the nuclear envelope. This is the nuclear envelope interrupted by nuclear pore, and you can see this structure. Okay, these are joined through by thin ends of these nuclear protein fibers. These fibers get densed and form nuclear lamina at the periphery of nuclear envelope. As they are joined together at the ends on the periphery of nuclear envelope, so they looks like dense in structure and form nuclear lamina. This dense region is known as nuclear lamina. This is nuclear lamina which is present at the periphery of nuclear envelope. Now the next is functions of nuclear matrix. So what are the functions of nuclear matrix? Basically, it is responsible for maintaining the shape of the nucleus. Okay, it acts like a skeleton of our body, or we can say it is acts as like a skeleton of a nucleus which maintain the shape of the nucleus or providing structural integrity to the nucleus. Chromatin fibers are anchored to the nuclear matrix, thereby helping spatially organization of chromatins. So chromatin fibers that are present inside the nucleoplasm that are anchored in these nuclear matrix which help in their organization. Replication and transcription machinery are associated with it. So it means there are so many replication or transcription uh, enzymes and proteins that are associated with these nuclear matrix. Okay. In the next video, we will discuss about the other two components of nucleus, that is nucleolus and chromatin fibers. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.